Good evening, everyone. I call the meeting to order at exactly 7 p.m. and welcome. For the audience here tonight, the City of Glendora utilizes a hybrid format to allow for participation both in person and virtually. In consideration of others and the business conducted tonight, please silence your phones and any electronic devices and refrain from speaking unless recognized. Again, this is a public meeting for the city of, or the community of Glendora. We appreciate and respect your participation here this evening. Madam Clerk, will you please conduct roll call?
Thank you. At this time, I'll take an oral roll call vote. Commissioner David Gerber,
Present.
Commissioner David Chavez has let us know that he will not be in attendance. Commissioner Mallory Burrell,
Present.
Vice Chair Eddie Commungian,
Present.
and Chair Brittany Lewis Porche.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, so at this time, I'd like to call Commissioner Gerber. Do I always call on you? Okay, fine, wait. Okay, Vice Chair Kumjian, please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
Because you're so efficient. All right, so does anyone wish to reorder or add to the agenda tonight? No takers. Okay. At this time, we're going to open the public comment period. I now invite the members of the public to address the Community Services Commission. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, speaking once, both on and off agenda items. All questions should be directed through the presiding officer. This is your time to speak uninterrupted. If you are in attendance, please fill out a speaker card and submit it to the recording admin before the close of the public comment period. Once recognized, speakers should advance to the podium here and state your name and the subject matter you wish to discuss. If you're participating via Zoom, select the raise hand icon in Zoom before the close of the public comment period. Once recognized, you will receive a request to unmute, state your name and the subject matter you wish to discuss. I invite those in attendance to speak. And are there any public comment cards?
This time I've received no public comment cards, and we have received no requests via Zoom to participate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and close the public comment period. I invite the commissioners to provide a statement report, starting with Commissioner Burrell.
I don't have anything this month. That's all I got for you.
Okay. Vice Chair Kumjian.
Yes, just a quick report from the Glendora Trails Council. December was an off month for the council, so these are some of the notes from the November meeting. Just announcing some hikes for the winter and spring season. So January 28th, there's a hike at Colby and Colby Dalton Trails. February 25th at Big Dalton Canyon Trails, March 25th at South Hills Wilderness Area, and April 29th at Little Dalton Canyon. And these all begin at 8 a.m. and then there's a guided, there's a guide there to take the public on a public hike. And that's all I have. It's great to be back and hope everybody had a great holiday season.
Wonderful. I know. Yes. Thank you. And Commissioner.
Thank you. I also have nothing really to report from the teen perspective. I believe that everything was kind of closed down due to the holidays. I am hopeful to get an email from Romero inviting me to what they have coming up soon with any type of teen summit meetings and whatnot down at the teen center. Also, yes, it was a great holiday. We're all still standing. Water all the water we've gotten, which has been amazing. The streets are getting fixed as we speak. So that's it.
Thank you for that. And as far as my report, there are none to add to this meeting, but I also want to second, third, and fourth. Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year 2023. And it's a pleasure to sit amongst such giants. All right. So I call on the Community Services Director, John Aguirre, to provide, do I need to say, no, because he's not here. Are there any other, right, okay. So I call on the Community Services Director, John Aguirre, to provide a statement report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, Mr. Chavez has sent in a letter and resigned from the commission. So after talking to Kathleen and the city clerk, we will hold off until July to refill because his appointment only went to June, the end of June. So then we will be asking for people the city clerk will be sending out to fill that position. So if you have anybody, those applications will be coming up shortly, and they can fill out and then they go through council and that. Some others, our youth basketball is going. We're got our uniforms in and they'll be in their third week of games. Little League and Lassie League signups are done. They're starting to do tryouts. And then they'll have their opening days in March. What other? Oh, we had a team trip scheduled for Monday, the holiday for Magic Mountain. It got postponed due to the rain. And so we will go in February. One of the president's holiday, I think it's a pupil free day. And we'll be pushing that on February 13th to go back to Magic Mountain. And that's all my reports.
Awesome. Thank you. And I will call on Community Services Director, John Aguirre, again to report on the Shining Star first quarter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It gives me great pleasure to announce our 2023 first quarter Shining Star to Annie Warner. I just want to give you a little sample of what Ann has done for our department. Ann started for the city in June of 1996 as a scorekeeper. I think she was making $6.47 at that time. She then became a rec leader in October of 1999, and then our part-time team coordinator in 2001. She became full-time recreation supervisor in 2004, overseeing the day-to-day operations of the teen center. In 2019, Annie became the recreation superintendent, overseeing both the rec and teen divisions. Annie is a face of our department. She is a great mentor and leader. She is always teaching the staff, not just what work is and work things, but also life tools. I love giving Annie a challenge with little information and watching her put together a new special event for our residents. Some of Annie's major accomplishments include she was the one that started the Teen Advisory Board, was the backbone of our teen activities. She also started our first Heritage Day picnic and showed what early Glendora looks like. When she took over Glendora Youth Basketball, they were like a regular organization. But when the city took it over, she just ran with it and had new heights with a league of 86 teams. So she was instrumental in moving that needle to get more kids involved. During COVID, Annie always looked for new ways to keep stuff going, as in our youth basketball with hiring that or getting that testing company to come out, getting the kids tested weekly so they could continue to play. Also during COVID, Ann was thinking out of the box where we could offer classes and special events. She had our rec leaders teaching outdoor fitness. Since they weren't going to schools, they were doing PE classes outdoors. She was also doing drive around Easter, Halloween, 4th of July, which led to our drive-through Earth Day event. Ann is a special person with a huge heart and a wonderful employee. Our shining star, Annie Warner. it was hard to get, Ann called at 4:30 today saying, I'm not coming to the meeting. So her sister called me and I go, okay, she's coming. I go, I don't know how I'm gonna get her. How we started was, we said Ann was going to introduce James tonight as a new employee. And he's like, I'm not going. And so I said, "No." So then, it worked out. They moved, they have 2 birthdays or 3 birthdays coming up. Two today. So, yeah. Somehow that weird, so everybody can see.
Well, thank you guys very much. That was very kind of you.
You want to say anything?
First of all, thank you. My parents are here, Kirk and Eloise. My siblings, Bill and Mary. Their spouses, Tom and Taylor, and my lovely son, look at him. My son, Daniel, and my 7 nieces and nephews who are so cute. You want me to say your name? Adeline, Teddy, James, Mac, Kirk, Billy, Claire, and Margot. They're fantastic. Which, yes. So, yeah, like John said, I applied for a job in 1996, did my interview at the Legion Building. And-
For one week?
Well, I would come in and out, but I did try another job and didn't like it. But worked other places, but always stayed part-time here. So technically, yes, I've been on the books officially since 1996. So yes, it's a great place to work. I'm super happy that I kind of just found me and I found it. John and Gary is a great person to work for, and we have an incredible staff. And very fortunate to work here and plan on working here till I'm 55. So thank you very much.
Let's have a picture of you up there with them. Okay. Also, Mary worked for us and Tom.
Okay, and then if everybody wants to go up.
Hi Brittany, how are you? Good.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
John, I think you better get in the picture. You're practically demanding it now. Oh, Daniel.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. See, I'm not gonna be there, but we'll,
Okay.
we'll see.
All right.
Thank you.
You just-
Bye. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I got a bid. I got. I'll get it over.
Well, because then they said they were doing it at 7. I don't. so- No.
Yes. Also, our new supervisor, overseeing classes and some special events, James Laura, you guys met him at the holiday decorating contest. James done a great job. He's starting to put together, the summer brochure already. So we're getting, that information together. But we're glad we have him. He's been great. He's over at the Legion Building, and that. So James, if you want to say a real quick word.
I'm not really sure how I follow that, but yes. Well, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the commission. It was very nice to see you guys again. I had a lot of fun doing our decorating contest. Thank you guys for being so welcoming when I was there. I did learn a couple things while I was there with you guys. It's basically, I need to get back on the bus before John does, or I might get left behind. Yeah, yes. And also, making sure the judges don't see smaller versions of what's on the lawn, because then it might sway votes. So for next time, maybe we don't want to do that. Just a little bit about me. I come from the city of St. Gabriel and the city of Rosemead. Been a specialist, a coordinator, supervisor. The last thing I did in the city of Rosemead, I was a public works manager. I know what? Yes, I was. I have a huge respect for everybody in public works. It was a very stressful job. My degree is actually in recreation, so I'm very happy to be back in that. And for all those things, the reasons that Annie got that award tonight is really why I'm so fortunate to be here. Working with her, working with John. I've actually known them for quite some time, working in the other cities, and being able to come here is an amazing opportunity. I can't wait to create, programming experiences for the Glendora community. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure riding on the bus and not getting left. Awesome. Yes. Okay, so the items on the consent calendar will be enacted by one motion without individual discussion unless a commissioner has requested it be removed for separate discussion. Does anyone wish to comment on item 2 or 3? And I will request a motion.
Sorry, consent calendar is item 3 only.
I motion.
Be a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Burrell and a second by Commissioner Gerber. I'll conduct a roll call vote. Commissioner Burrell? Yes. Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kumjian,
Yes.
and Chair Louis Perche.
Yes.
All right, motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Great. All right, so Community Services Department Capital Improvement Program, CIP update. At this time, I invite Community Services Director John Aguirre to report.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Kelsey Fay was going to, but she is ill tonight. So I am saying that, but she did all the work for this. Bless you. Next slide, please. Each year, the city council adopts the annual operating budget, which includes the capital improvement program budget. On June 22nd of last year, city council, at the city council meeting, the city council approved and adopted the fiscal year 2021 to 2023 two-year budget. Next slide, please. Our first CIP project that we're hoping is for Gladstone Park. We were originally allocated money for the splash pad, which is now on hold due to the drought. Funds have been reallocated to install a shade structure It's on the south side. We're looking at just below the restrooms. Also in that area, the new urban trail will run right next to it on the DG path right there. Next slide, please. The Finkbeiner Park Storm Drain Project. We had a presentation a couple meetings ago from their design group. We are working with Public Works to undertake this 19-acre-foot underground infiltration tank installation underneath the softball fields at Finkbeiner Park. The project includes new AstroTurf, 4 softball fields with an overlay soccer field, new Musco lighting, new fencing around the entire complex, a green alley, and a basketball court and with additional of a half court. We are about at, I think at 90% plans. This is design only right now. And then that will be having to go out for funding. I think they're looking at a price of about 25 million to get that going. Next slide, please. Good old pickleball. Pickleball courts at Dawson Park. We have 6 tennis courts at Dawson Park. We'll be converting one of the tennis courts to 4 pickleball courts. The schedule to be completed in late February. And that will be a nice project to get underway. We get questioned almost daily when our pickleball courts are coming in. You know, we will probably, yes. Next slide, please. South Hills Park Wilderness Area, a bike park and mountain bike trails. We have money that we just went to council for design only. We're doing some we also will do some outreach to our residents. We're looking to design for the pump bike park and mountain bike trails. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Honda Hill in the South Hills. It is just off Glendora Avenue. It will oversee mainly over Glendora Gardens, the senior housing. Right above that is a flat area that we're looking to design up there, and then trails to come off that. They also will be coming to commission for input in the next couple months. We have hired Avid Trails, and they will be coming and doing workshops and that, and taking back and coming up with trails and cost of what it might cost us to build. Next slide, please. The LaFetra Center. This project has been on the list for quite some time. We're hoping to get it completed in this fiscal year. The project includes new exterior stairs from the historic building, a replacement of flooring, new wall partitions in the oak, elm, and sage rooms, new countertops along with new wood shingles outside, and paint. The shingles on both the historic, new extension, well, it's the new building is 20 years old or plus. So we always think it's new, but with the other building being over 100 years, we need to start replacing some of that and bringing it back up to code. Next slide, please. We have the teen center facility improvements. This includes new laminated countertops, painting of the entire inside of the building, and new restrooms partitions. We're hoping this one also gets done this fiscal year. Next year, or this year, sorry, will be the 20th anniversary of the Crather Teen and Family Center, and we'll be doing a celebration in June. Next slide, please. Finkbeiner Park, the playground, restroom, and pickleball courts. This project has been broken into 2 phases. First phase includes the refurbishing of the restrooms. We've gone from purchasing new restrooms to refurbishing of the old restrooms. So they're taking out everything, gutting it, and putting everything back in new. The restroom facility, it takes about 9 months to order, so they're scratching that and going this way, cost effective. So the first phase includes a refurbishing of the restrooms, tennis courts, new light fixtures, fencing and curbing. And what we're doing, we have 2 tennis courts there. We're converting 1 into 4, again, pickleball courts. So we would end up with 8 pickleball courts for the city. The second phase includes the new concrete paths of different places around the playground area and the pour and play playground material there at Finkbeiner. Next slide, please. This is the Louis Pompey turf project. We had our first meeting last week with the design group. It went very well. They, in fact, started today doing surveying and some geotech work tomorrow. And they will be coming to commission in March, would give you an update and pictures of that. So we're hoping to have shovels in the ground in early May and then finish the project in late October. We're hoping we can phase it in where we can get use of some of the fields earlier. We know that we'll be playing the juggle game with football and soccer during that time. Softball is helping us out by finishing their season right at the start of May. And then they will not host any all-star tournament. So that helps us in that. And then we'll be looking at places for football and soccer to play. This concludes the staff report. If you have any questions.
Going to you last, because I already know you're gonna. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Commissioner Gerber, you go ahead.
No, this is just, that is a lot in 12 months. I mean, if you guys are able to accomplish all of this in 1 year, the entire communities, all of the facilities will have been revamped, updated, brought forward. I know that Finkbeiner, that's a whole separate entity, right? That's going to take a couple years in order for that to facilitate itself. But Louis Pompey, the Finkbeiner, just the pickleball courts. I mean, those are all huge undertakings. And I think in some capacity, we need to do some like re-grand opening at down at Louis Pompey. We need to do all of those things to bring the awareness of what you guys have done. And because all you hear is, the negative about what's going on. And this is something that is a huge positive. So I'm just amazed at how much you guys have going on, not to mention with all the programs and everything else that you guys are doing, but overseeing all of this is just amazing. So kudos, and I can't wait for it all to come to fruition.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's wild in our, oh my gosh, we're at the end of our 4 years, huh? What we've seen happen, and the fact that you have like a massive global pandemic in the middle of it doesn't seem to have really slowed you guys down in terms of what you've been able to accomplish and what is on the docket. So I think it's really, I'm very excited for the pickleball courts. We're a very competitive pickleball family. So we will be right there with the reservation system trying to get those good court times. But no, it's really exciting. I mean, I've been going to Finkbeiner Park since I was in a stroller. So to see kind of, just over time, the different improvements that have been made, and then what's going to be improved now. And then, as my kids get older, it's exciting. There's so many good things happening. And the BMX thing is going to be like so many huge draws to the community. I feel like not just for the residents, but like people will want to come from other, like, this is pretty dorky, but there's like websites where you can go on to find like where are the best pickleball courts, and people will travel from other cities to check out these services and facilities. And the same thing with Louis Pompey and stuff like that. So I think it's just really not great just for our residents, but as kind of a PR to show people, what we got going on. So well done.
Great. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. No, this is great. This is why we live in the city and why we want to stay here. I'm particularly excited about the bike park. I know there was a meeting with council, I believe on the 13th, was it in December? I mean, that was last month. And there was that, what is the timeline?
We're
for-
in design only.
Yeah.
So then once he would come up with a price. That would then go to council or whatever to the CIPs if they have money.
Mhm.
That's where you guys can be in the eyes and ears out there saying, hey, there is a need for this. We know that it has a strong backing from the Glendora High School mountain bike.
Yeah.
They're the ones
Yeah.
that kind of came.
Right.
And what they did, they started building their own in South Hills during COVID.
Right.
We found the trails, the city then demolished those. And the kids then came and we had a meeting with them and with Mayor Boyer and that's how it's been rolling. And so we found a design group that will do that. We have visited other pump tracks and trails. And so the more the city wants stuff, that's when it seems like it gets funded. And then those would then go to and get on that CIP list of and see where it could
Location,
fall.
budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. And Louis Pompey, wow, that's an aggressive timeline, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Great, thank you.
Absolutely. We'll jump on that. Pompeii update is going to be well received by all of the football teams who have eagerly been awaiting that. So the timeline, like you said, is that's unheard of. And that's really awesome that we're going to see that. I thought that we were just at the bid phase. So it looks like we've
No, we're.
passed that and we're in motion.
Yeah,
So
December council approved both for Pompeii and the design for the bike. That meeting was significant and got us going on both those projects.
yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. And so the 20 years of the Teen Center, time flies. So that's exciting. And it looks like we'll be able to participate that in June. Band shell, I'm thinking of the band shell as Finkbeiner is updated and beautified. The band shell is historic and has obviously that good old feel to it, but there's some opportunity there maybe. So I just want to put a nudge in
Okay,
that
we can,
maybe.
that's something that staff can take a look at.
Yeah.
I don't know what other
Round.
amenities and stuff
Yeah.
we can put there, but
Yeah, maybe like concrete.
but
And so that we.
yeah, we can take a look.
I
and-
know that's
and that.
true. Yeah, but yeah, no, I just thought of the band shell. And then there was a spot in between the shaded patio area and where the parking lot is gonna be at Finkbeiner. I think
I think on the plans, it might,
it looks like green now.
they might put some there and
Right,
Greenway, and we're also put some sidewalks so you can get in and out of there and into and walk more.
Yes, absolutely. As a person who's utilized that very tented structure, that little area in between. Hey, that's more parking space or more tented area space. So awesome. Very excited about these projects. So thank you. And that's awesome. All right. So may I have a request, a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Right. Thank you.
Can come up.
Verbalize.
Oh, I'll second.
Perfect. I have a motion by Vice Chair Cumjan and a second by Commissioner Burrell. I'll conduct a roll call vote. Commissioner Burrell,
Yes.
let me open that. Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Cumjan,
Yes.
and Chair Louis Perche.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for that. And an update on the La Fetra Center programs and events. So I would like to invite the Community Services Coordinator, Rachel. or Rose to report. I know.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Good to see you all. As you know, in addition to some of the ongoing groups and programs and things at the LaFetra Center, such as our book discussion group, card games, ping pong, crafting and arts groups, Journey Through Grief, current events, and more, last fall saw the introduction of a few new groups and clubs. So the American History Discussion Group still meets weekly to discuss assigned readings from books and articles. Sharing Memories meets weekly to share the written and oral history of its members. Nuts About Needlepoint meets twice a month for crafting, and the International Community Club continues to meet weekly to enhance the worldview of its members, share knowledge, opinions, and experiences from its various members. So the LaFetra Center's 3 free dance classes, music and movement, dancercise, and introduction to ballet are all happening again this winter spring season. And we will also be introducing 2 new free fitness classes provided by Citrus College. Flexibility training for older adults will teach exercises designed to improve and maintain flexibility, endurance, motor movements, balance, and relaxation in older adults. And cardio, strength, and conditioning begins with elementary movements and gradually increases to the individual's desired level of physical activity. Our contract classes, computer adventure for active adults, country line dancing, Tai Chi, and balance and mobility will all return starting next week, or most of them starting next week. And our free iPhone and iPad classes are also returning with a new structure for our intermediate classes after feedback from attendees. So each intermediate session will focus on a specific topic so that people can better hone their skills with their devices. Other free classes such as Sing for Joy, Hooray for Hollywood, and our bridge class are all ongoing. Next slide, please. So the LaFetra Center's nutrition program is still curbside pickup only. We hope to begin a hybrid model soon. We've had more conversation with the YWCA just before the holidays, and we're trying to figure out how to maintain the curbside pickup for those that would prefer that method, and then how to bring back an in-person lunch program, because the populations that want those are different. So we want to make sure that we're getting everybody fed. Participants are still receiving 5 frozen meals and 2 fresh lunches, as well as milk and fruits. And the regional food bank distribution is still occurring monthly for LA County residents 60 and older. And that free food kit includes more dry goods and things like that. The legal clinic for seniors is still available monthly for seniors who have questions regarding estate planning and elder law issues, free of charge. And we recently partnered with the YWCA to provide a free weekly case management service to Glendora's senior and disabled population. So this service is available in 5 languages, and it covers topics and programs such as counseling, home delivered meals, Social Security and SSI, medical equipment, subsidized housing, personal care, transportation, and utility payment assistance. So we started that up at the beginning of December, I believe. It was a little bit of a slow start, but it's every Monday, and now we have people regularly attending and meeting with the case manager. Next slide, please. So we will have 7 day trips this season through the LaFetra Center. The first is to the Nixon Museum to see the special exhibit, docent guided tour of Cold War's Soviet spies and secrets. And next, participants will visit the Los Angeles Zoo and Botanical Gardens. Next, please. After that, we'll have trips to Mission San Juan Capistrano and then the Gamble House in Pasadena, both of which include docent guided tours. And later in the season, there will be a trip to the Segerstrom Center for the Performing Arts to see the popular musical Chicago. Local tour guide Kurt Tucker will lead participants on 2 trips this season: Under the Sea, which is a trip to the Marine Mammal Care Center down in San Pedro, along with a nice luncheon and then a visit to the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. And Los Angeles Then and Now is a historical tour of Los Angeles, more specifically a sports themed tour, the highlight of which is a private tour of SoFi Stadium, and that will be in June. We already have some of the trips are almost all the way full after the first 2 weeks of registration, so things are looking good for trips this far. Next slide, please. So, as you know, the annual craft boutique was held on November 5th of last year. We had 38 unique vendors indoors and outside on our front lawn, and this event showcased the artistry and craftsmanship of the local vendors. It was a great opportunity for them to become known in the community and for families to find holiday gifts. The Salute to Veterans luncheon honored and celebrated our veterans, many of whom are participants at the LaFetra Center. That was a very rainy day. We still had a very good turnout and people had a good time. And so I'm happy they all made it out in that crazy weather. And attendants were also treated to a catered lunch and a performance by our own Sing for Joy group. So our upcoming events include the annual Health and Wellness Fair on January 26th. We have almost 30 vendors for that. And we're also going to be having health screenings like blood pressure and blood sugar, handing out COVID test kits, a COVID vaccination clinic, and a couple of different presentations on how to identify scams and fraud and different things like that. So all areas of wellness specific to senior citizens, but for everybody as well. Volunteer recognition will be on April 14th and the Older Americans Luncheon will be on May 25th. Volunteer recognition, as you know, is a private event to celebrate and honor the many volunteers that help at the LaFetra Center. We have over 70 volunteers helping at our reception desk with our nutrition program, teaching classes, leading groups and clubs, and escorting on our day trips. And the Older Americans Luncheon takes place every May, which is the nationally recognized month for senior citizens. And guests will be treated to lunch and entertainment. And as you know, that's where the Ruth Harper Award will be presented. Next slide, please. So that concludes my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll start. First and foremost, can we award the person who's naming these wonderful offerings the nuts about crafting? Needlepoint. Oh, right. Yes, all of that. So congratulations.
Most of the groups pick their own names and the instructors name their own classes. So it's the creativity of our own participants in action.
I am definitely loving that. The trips that are coming up look really exciting, especially that fanatic for football goers. That's going to be fun. So thank you for these updates. This was very good, very helpful.
Would you say that, like, do you think that you're back at the like pre-pandemic level of attendance for a lot of the groups and the trips and all that stuff?
I think so. Yeah. I think last fall was kind of the first time where we were seeing kind of close to that. Some of the activities were really back in full swing right away. Bingo, as you can imagine, everybody was immediately back playing bingo the first Friday we had it. Whereas other things like the trips, I think, last season was the first time we had sold out trips since reopening. And that was the first time that we hadn't had to cancel any due to no attendance or like low registration. So, and then obviously, like I said, the season's looking pretty good so far. I think attendance has really depended on the venue's COVID policies. And I think a lot of people were just sort of waiting until regulations loosened up a little bit at different venues. As far as in-house participation, we are getting back. I think the fact that we're seeing new groups and clubs springing up, new classes is a good sign, and especially fitness classes. That took us a while to get those back into the building. So we're excited to have those back. So yeah, I think last fall and then this spring are really the first times where the numbers are looking like they were before COVID for attendance.
Yeah, I feel like, kind of reflecting back on our first year and what the offerings were and what you guys have now, and you know, with the pandemic sort of being in the middle of those two, it just seems like there's a lot more physical activity classes and a lot, I don't want to say younger necessarily, but like more, active senior activities, and just to see a lot of new stuff. For a long time, it's always kind of the same thing. And so that there's new clubs springing up is really great. And I think reflective of like your guys' work and kind of the new senior population and what they're wanting and stuff. So it's very exciting to have seen it grow over the time.
Just one quick comment about the nutrition program. It seems like it's taking a while to get back to normal.
Yes,
Yes.
we initially were curbside pickup, obviously when we were closed.
Right.
And then once we reopened with the masking policies and things like that in place. So we're just the site for the food. We don't prep it. We don't cook any of it here. We package it up, but it arrives like sealed. So the YWCA really has control over how the food is distributed. Our staff does help get everything organized, but there's YWCA agents on site for the entire time that distribution is happening, and they really run the show. So it's not for lack of asking on our part. We would love to have like a hybrid model, or to be back most days having lunch. It's just not something that the YWCA has really been open to, but there are a couple of other senior centers in the area who have started doing a hybrid model. It just depends on their site. So a couple months ago, we were inspected, our kitchens and things like that, by the YWCA to see what it would look like for reopening. And we had to get a couple of repairs done, which are all done now. Everything was nice and clean. So our building's basically ready to go. And like I said, over the fall was the first time we reached out where they said that they would be open to doing a hybrid model. So I don't know if it'll ever really be back like it was before we closed, where we had, 60 people at lunch every single day. I think the convenience of just swinging by and picking up your food and going home. But there are definitely people who come more for the social environment than for the food.
Right.
And so I know we'd get attendance in that way. So fingers crossed, we're trying.
Do you think that you are able to reach more people in need with the drive-through model?
I think it depends on the need, because
Okay.
for people who need the food, either way, they're probably going to come
okay.
to have the food. If there's a need for social distancing still, I know we have some people who do the drive-through model who are severely immunocompromised, and quite a lot of people who don't otherwise attend any activities at the LaFetra Center. So there's really there's some crossover between who's picking up lunches and who's coming in and doing needlepoint and taking
Yeah.
Tai Chi. But by and large, the people who pick up are not the same people who are in the building doing classes. So like I said, I think the people who would be having in person, it would be more of a social need.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, because we're really hitting different groups with
Mhm.
the in-person versus the curbside, which is why we're, I think, hoping for a hybrid model at least
Right.
to start.
Because I was imagining, because there isn't an age on the meals, right?
It's 60 plus.
Oh, it is 60 plus.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it's specific to seniors only. And then you have to be a Glendora resident. Other than that, there are no requirements. They don't verify income. They just basically need your date of birth and your mailing address. And as long as you fit those two, then you can receive the meals.
I just have one question. I don't know if you guys take note of this, but do you know what the total count is of the number of seniors that roll through the LaFetra Center, and what that is to the percent of the population that we have of seniors? So I know it's kind of a very deep-rooted question, but I guess my question really is are the seniors utilizing it to the population, right? If we have 100,000 or 50,000 people, of which maybe 20,000 are seniors, considered senior citizens, how many of those are actually utilizing the center?
It changes month to month. Off the top of my head, I don't have like a a perfect number. I know we do statistics every month on people who are coming in and using the facility. On the low end, it's been in like the high 600s for the month of people coming in. And then on the high end, like maybe upwards of 1,000 people a month. And it depends on, we also include in that people who attend the trips. So even if they aren't coming into the building, they're
Right.
going on a trip that is through the facility.
Exactly.
So we include that, obviously things like the health and wellness fair or the luncheons, those months where we have events, it's usually higher. Over the holidays, it's really low because there's lots of Fridays where people don't come in for bingo. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know the senior population in Glendora either, really. But so I couldn't tell
Something
you
that the
like a
city
ratio.
has information around in terms of, when we do a census, right? From a
Yes,
perspective-
we get those numbers of, on the census and that, but we've never really equated it out to how many come, because it's a drop-in facility in that, where we just offer those classes and transportation to and from, and hoping that they would come out.
Well,
and-
it kind of goes
and
back
that.
to what Mallory, what you were talking about by seeing some change and some increasing, change in types of the programs that are being offered and things of that nature. If they're, as you are expanding the horizon on what that is, I would hope that that would reach more of the senior citizens that are within our community, provided they fit in that age group, right?
Yes, they stopped really calling it a senior center. That's a La Fetra Center now,
Right.
to take that
Stigma.
stigma away. They're always looking at more of the classes for the baby boomers or whatever that
Yeah.
want to do stuff.
A lot of people won't come because it's a senior center. And
I'd
that's
come play ping pong and go play bingo if I had the time during the day.
I
I'm not
will
a senior
say,
yet.
all of
Close, but
the-
not quite. But,
all of the new groups and clubs that we have, like the American History Discussion Group, the 3 new dance classes, Needlepoint, those are all facilitated by new attendees to the La Fetra Center. So none of our new classes, groups, or clubs have been started by people who have been at the facility. They're all new people who have started attending like post-COVID, looking for something to do and have like found a little community. So I think that is a good sign. We do try to keep track. I know John mentioned it was like a drop-in system. We do have like a scan card and computer system for seniors to come in. Obviously, if they're registering for a fee-based activity, we have all of that data with our like online registration system. But if somebody's just coming in to like talk to the case management officer or is dropping in for bingo, I mean, sometimes we get almost 100 people in bingo, and I can tell you right now, not 100 people are scanning in to check in for bingo. So sometimes the numbers are maybe a little bit artificially low as well, because people aren't going to scan in. But yeah, so I couldn't really say in terms of the ratio of attendees versus seniors in Glendora, but the number of attendees has steadily increased. And then on lower months, it's when we maybe we only have 1 trip instead of 2 or 3, we don't have an event, or we have a lot of like Thanksgiving,
Holidays,
Christmas,
right.
that kind of stuff. Those are where the lower numbers show up.
Do we have within the city where there's like a bus that could come and pick up seniors that would want to go, other than them calling in to, like we do after school for the kids, right? That
Yeah,
would take them
we,
down to the
we
teen
have,
center.
we have a fixed route which runs later in the afternoon, but other than that, it's dial-a-ride. So you have to call in and make your appointment in it.
And part of the reason for my thoughts around this is because within my own family, my mother-in-law recently gave up her car. She's very rigid in what she likes to do and how she likes to communicate. And we've tried to get her to the La Fetra Center to see the activities and involve herself, because she is a widow and she's on her own. Unfortunately, she won't get there or do all of those things. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around what we do within the community for people like that, to try and take advantage of something that is so amazing, that has so many opportunities to keep our seniors active, mentally, as well as finding people within their own age group with similar issues or concerns, and they can start talking in discussion groups and
And sometimes that's like you bringing her to show and sitting down that day and having
Yes.
lunch and have them talking to our staff and then trying to get somebody else that she feels comfortable with and then making that friendship.
correct.
And that how it usually starts.
And that's an avenue that we're exploring, and
Yeah.
at some point, Rachel, I will probably reach out to you to kind of help with that when we have somebody other than family members take her there, because, you know, when a family member tells you to do something, it's a lot different than somebody else suggesting it. Let's go look at it and see, and they're a little bit more willing.
Mhm.
But I could always, go talk with, meet with Rachel, and you would help, facilitate something.
And
But
they get that they'll get new people coming in or loved ones saying, hey, my aunt or my mom's moving back to Glendora. They gave up her house and now, what can we do to keep her involved and stuff? And they do that and try to work on the buddy system and that, and for different games, if they play cards, bridge or something, all
Yeah.
that.
And that's the thing. I think what you guys do is so amazing for our community and the offerings. And as Mallory, you put it very, very well put, that things are growing and they're changing. And it's just, I wish that all of Glendora seniors would really understand and take advantage of what they have in their backyard, because not every community has such opportunities. And so that's just great job and great information.
Thank you.
And last but not least, I agree with everyone. The offerings are awesome. We already said that. I think to myself about grocery pickup as a way of sort of building a relationship. And perhaps there could be a sign up process for those local residents that cannot really get out to the grocery store regularly, and pairing them up with volunteers who are willing to grocery shop. And could be a way to draw out some of those that, like, haven't been able to take advantage. But awesome job. John, you mentioned the luncheon or bringing someone in for a lunch, but I did think, is there already something like that where it's just a quarterly come have lunch? We know you're a senior in the community. We know you're yeah, there you go.
Older
A-
adult. Yeah.
A bonus resident, whatever we could cool name, but we know you're a resident that hasn't really gotten to enjoy, but here's a certificate. You get to come for a free lunch. kind
We
of
had a coffee and chat once a month during COVID. We would do it on Zoom. And then once we kind of got back up and running, we really weren't getting good attendance. One thing I didn't mention, which has been a really big deal to all of our participants, is that 2 of our 3 coffee stations are now back in the building, and there's coffee from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, which is like,
deal.
it's been a really big deal. I didn't think that people would be that thrilled, but they really are. So,
With flavored creamer.
but yeah, just bringing somebody in to have a cup of coffee, play a game of cards, take a look at the weird books that we have on the shelves. There's puzzles upstairs. So there's definitely, it's a very low pressure way to get involved. They don't have to sign up for 10 groups and 10 classes. They can just kind of come in, and I mean, people come in all the time and just ask for a tour. And our staff's very knowledgeable. In particular, one of our staff members about the history of the 100-year-old building that John mentioned. So even just getting to know the building and getting kind of an idea of what happens in the different rooms and gets them more comfortable with the facility. So even just bringing them by for a tour and a cup of coffee is a good start.
Has, just one thing to add, has the center ever had like a speaking series or a speaker series where once a month you could bring a guest speaker and
Yes,
or like a town hall, kind of?
We have guest speakers, sort of. We have guest speakers from often different health agencies come and give presentation topics. For a long while, it was mostly on like health related issues, depression and anxiety in older adults, how to declutter and downsize, once you're well and truly your kids have left the nest, things like that. We've also had Glendora PD come in and give presentations on scams and frauds. The library was at the center a couple of days ago for seniors to bring in their mobile devices to figure out how to download Libby, get started on audiobooks and ebooks. So we have things like that. We don't have,
More like lighter, just, people from the community just go share their life and talk back and forth, with coffee in the afternoon.
yeah, that's definitely something we
Yeah.
can consider because I'm, with the International Community Club and the Sharing Memories group, they already sort of discuss those types of topics. And, sometimes, like you mentioned, it's lighter, it's more relaxed. Sometimes it's more serious. Current events definitely
Right,
is
current
the most
events,
serious.
Right. current events.
But maybe somebody from one of those groups, if they wanted to, if they were comfortable, we could have them. That way it's a member of the LaFetra community already kind of branching out, because they do tend to sometimes stay within that group and then not branch out. So that's a good idea.
I mean, I'm sure there's some veterans that have amazing, or just they have some amazing stories. Everybody has a story, so it'd be great to
Mhm.
do that.
Sharing with
Yeah.
their profession
Yeah.
prior to retirement.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
good too.
It's a good one.
Alright.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that full report, Rachel Rose, and we appreciate you. And thank you again for coming. So I will request a motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Gerber, a second by Commissioner Burrell. I'm going to request each of you to vote, and then I will conduct an oral roll call vote. Commissioner Burrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kumjian,
Yes.
and Chair Louis Perche.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. And I invite the commission and staff to give closing statements or comments, starting with Commissioner Burrow.
It's good to see all you guys in the new year. I didn't realize the last time we saw each other was at our holiday light smackdown. Who's gonna be there on next Thursday? Me too. Okay. So if we can make a note so it doesn't get away from us for next year about our new categories of holiday lights and who we have to pay to buy some more plywood.
We have them, but.
We had like chairs, the chairs trophy or something like that. And then like the commission, which is like second place, so Brittany would get whatever she wanted. And then the rest of us could just choose a house to honor. So I think we were adding two, was what we had workshopped.
Entrance. There's gonna be a bunch.
Small but mighty. There was a
Yeah.
small but mighty.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's insulting though.
the mighty.
The mighty. But yeah, so we need to just remember that before it gets away from us. And it's next year already, because we talked about it the year before. I think that's all I got for you, is exciting stuff. It's almost as exciting as Transportation Day. I'm so excited about all the pickleball courts and the fancy parks.
Commissioner Gerber.
Yeah, tonight just reaffirms this community and the diversity and all the activities and the fun and things that are out there from the LaFetra Center and what we would consider a senior center to the potential of a dirt bike for our younger kids and just the turf. That's what makes this community what it is and makes me feel good about being here and being able to hopefully help in any way we can to continue to grow the use of all of these activities and all of these places that we have. So that to me tonight just is a huge representation of what this is all about. And I'm going to just take a second to plug the Community Service Foundation. We have established a community service award where we will be working for, it will be done annually. We will be giving out up to about $2,000 to a winner or up multiple winners if there are, for from the ages of 6 to 25 that are nominated by somebody in the community for what they do, whether it's a Boy Scout, a Girl Scout, someone who works within the community service department, just their volunteer, whatever they do for the community that stands out. And we will accept nominations, and we will have a committee that will interview them, and we will make a decision and a choice. We will start distributing this hopefully within the first quarter, and applications will be due by the end of January next year for what would be this year of 2023. And we will award up to $2,000 in March of 2024 for 2023. And ultimately, we will continue to do that. So if you know of organizations, whether it's Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, churches, schools, we're going to do all schools, anything within the city limits. So it's not relegated to north of Route 66 or south. It's the entire, city limits of the city of Glendora. We're interested to know what those organizations are. So if you have any organizations that we could come and canvass and provide the information to, so that if they have anybody that they feel strongly about that has done something very unique. No, this is an award for somebody who's done something very specific. An individual, right, you're right. So I want to go to an organization. Do you have any individuals within those organizations that are doing something amazing and outstanding? Because we don't know that there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of different things, and we would like to recognize them and giving out a monetary award, kind of like a scholarship, but yet not a scholarship, because we don't want to relegate it to just kids that are of a certain age, right, or going to college or in college. We want any kid that are up to the age of 25. So there will be specific requirements that need to be met. But in the end, we would like to start giving back money that we have obtained through our fundraising. And this award, I think the more we can bring heightened awareness to it, it might cultivate more people wanting to do more things and bring those to light so that the community knows about it. I want to publish it. I want to recognize people. I want them to understand that this is what's going on in your community, because I don't know that happens all that often. So we are starting to do that. And so I throw out to you guys, if you know of, names of people or organizations and that are doing that type of thing, please pass them along so we can spread the word.
Would you consider making it school-based? Like maybe reducing the award amount and say there's one for Cullen student, there's one for Glendora High student, maybe like to help them fund a project or trip or.
Well, we're trying to do it for individual based. So in this case, we aren't necessarily giving out one award for $2,000. There could be multiple awards of $500. There could be up to 4. It depends upon the nominations, the what they've actually accomplished, and what they're being on our board. We're going to have up to 5 board members that will be interviewing people, and then we'll come to a consensus. So we are looking for new board members to grow that population and to continue to grow the foundation. So this is just one way, and this is our beginning. So we're open. We're completely open to change and ideas, but this is how we're starting. And if we can grow it, maybe we can grow the dollar amount. The more funds we raise within the community. And if we even get more donations from businesses that they can attach their name to it, that they are a donor to the Community Service Foundation, and of their money goes to this particular service award. So yeah, ultimately, but yeah, we're going to go to we're going to go to all the schools. We're going to go to all the high schools. So that includes Damien, St. Lucy's, Charter Oak. They're all within, Damien is not. No, but yes, but if you live in the city of Glendora, if you're a resident, but go to Damien, you can, right? So like I said, all the Boy Scout, Girl Scout troops, what's the Kiwanis, all the different organizations.
Organization.
Yeah. So if you have organizations and churches or synagogues or what have you, we would love to get names of people to pass out, because I'm sure they have youth programs and, you know, things that they're doing, and why not recognize those kids? And if they can achieve something very masterful, be rewarded for it and be recognized. So
Well, thank you for that. And Vice Chair Kyung-Ji.
I also want to second David's sentiment about our city. So proud of it. I love living here, and it just gets me more excited with all the programs and the investment the city is putting towards the residents. Very excited to see all of these come to fruition, and some of them very soon. So that's all, but I wish everybody a great month, and see you all next month.
Thank you for that. And I want to commend the department for pulling together the amazing toy drive. I don't think we got a chance to really talk about that, but I was blown away by the generosity from our community and from the organization of our very own Johnny Geary and his team that pulled together. It was incredible. It was incredible. So to see that come to life and to see the teen center transform into Santa's Village was incredible. So I'm looking forward to future years of that. And I know that it's probably going to get too big to even give out, because I think this year they didn't fill a bus, they filled a house, maybe even bigger than that. So we're going to have to call it something else. But wonderful work has been done in the community. Thank you all to our team that are here that make these meetings happen. I don't think we get to shout you out enough, but it couldn't happen without you. So thank you for that. I want to say, again, Happy New Year to everyone out there. And we look forward to seeing you next month. And one more thing from Dr. Johnny Geary. Yes.
We do have our quarterly reminder, council's quarterly meeting next week on, or the 26th, June 26th, 6 p.m. We'll be giving out January 26th. I wish it was June already. January 26th. We'll be giving out the awards for the holiday home decorating contest. They'll go up and get recognized. Also, our foundation will be doing the yellow ribbon, the retiree of the military. And that just a quick, we did 57 families for the Stuff the Bus, 132 kids. We did have some extra toys that we gave to the YWCA for their women's shelter. We gave 5 boxes there, and then we gave 5 boxes to the City of Hope pediatrics and stuff. So we delivered those to them. They were both groups were thankful for that. So it was a great event that we did, and we're looking next year already to make it bigger and better. So thank you. It's at the Bidwell Forum. Yeah.
Well, I think that concludes it. Congratulations to our very own Annie for being the rising star. Welcome, James, to the team, and for all a good night. We call this meeting adjourned at 8:13.